Okay, people. So every year, there's always those films which everyone talks about, right? Everyone earmarks to do well during award season, to run that festival gauntlet and just kill it. And King Richard is one of those films. This is something people have been talking about for time as soon as it got announced, right? It was, oh, how's King Richard gonna be, right? How's it gonna be? Now, the other big thing about it as well is this gonna be the film to give Will Smith that Oscar he desperately wants, right? I mean, that is the big one, you know. You know he wants that Oscar. So can he get it, right? Can he get it? Now, there's a lot of talent involved in this, right? So let's take a look. It is it's being directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green. All right, he's been working for a while, doing his thing. Um, Zach Balin, he's written the script. It's produced by Tim White, Trevor White, and you know what I mean? As I was telling you, people, Will really wants that Oscar because he's producing it too, right? He's trying to cover all them bases. So we got cinematography from Robert Elswit. It's edited by Pamela Martin. Chris Bowers is handling the music, you know. So we also have just a fat old cast, right? We got Will Smith playing Richard Williams, we've got um Unjunu Ellis as um Orsine Price. We've got Saniyya Sidney as Venus Williams, Demi Singleton as Serena Williams. We have got Michaela Lachey Bartholomew as Tundi Price, Daniel Lawson as Aisha Price, Layla Crawford as Lindra Price. We have Tony Goldwyn as Paul Cohen, right? Their first coach. We have John Bethnal as Rick Mackey, their second coach. And I was looking at, Mackey, and I'm thinking, I recognize, like, he looks familiar. Who the fuck is that? John Bethnal. Oof. We got Dylan McDermott as Will Hodges, Andy Bean as Lard Stubber, Susie Abamet as Robin Finn, Katrina Begin as Anne Worcester, Judith Chapman is Nancy Reagan, Noah Bean is Stephen, Erin Cummings, she's the social worker. We don't get the name, right? Yeah, I think that's kind of there are main lot. Now what's it about, right? What's it about? Well, it is based on the true story that supposedly will inspire the world. King Richard follows the journey of Richard Williams, an undeterred father instrumental in raising two of the most extraordinarily gifted athletes of all time, who will end up changing the sport of tennis forever. Driven by a clear vision of their future and using unconventional methods, Richard has a plan that will take Venus and Serena from the streets of Compton, California, to the global stage as legendary icons. I mean, right? Now, I think there is a lot of hyperbole in that, and you could say there is in the film itself, right? So we open up, right? We're watching Richard kind of walk around tennis courts and stuff like that, and we're hearing a voiceover where he's talking about, you know, creating champions and the need for it and all of this kind of stuff. So we get that. Now, I think, you know, this is obviously, it's about Richard Williams, this film, right? Obviously, it's King Richard. But, you know, the story is always about, you know, the sisters, like Serena and Venus. And you think there's so much that plays into this, right? And how do we cover it all, right? That's the question. How do you cover everything, right? How do you create a vehicle that will give that just clear view on what went down, right? But also an honest view on what went down. I think that's the thing. And one thing that's kind of crazy about this that kind of jumped out at me straight away, right? Because yes, Venus and Serena are the tennis phenoms, but they've also got a gaggle of sisters. Gaggle of sisters. We only get the name really of Tunde, but we never really get introduced to any of the other girls. Like they're in the scene. They're always there, especially at the beginning. Right at the beginning, we see the girls as a group go to tennis and go to the court, like, and just do all of this stuff. But we we don't know who the fuck they are. We don't know their names, which is kind of insane, right? I think there's so many ways in which you could introduce the other girls, but it just doesn't really happen. We get Tundi's name, you know, and we do finally get the names of the other girls, but it's just a kind of in passing. Oh yeah, by the way, you know, like it's weird. It's weird how I feel that's all covered. Now, with all the other stuff, there's so much footage, right? There's so much footage of these girls, the training and just everything like that. And you can see that they have tried to recreate some of these like classic moments, you know, some of these scenes that were just there for the world to see. They're trying to, you know, bring that out, as it were. And I look, I think they do a good job of creating that look, that vibe of the time. I would definitely do that. And it's it's definitely interesting to try and get this glimpse of, all right, how did it all start? Right? How did it all start? Right? What was the process of this? You know, I think that's a big thing, and we do get some of that for sure. We definitely get some of that. I did feel though, right? We don't really we only kind of get caricatures of these characters, right? That we never really inhabit the girls, right? Venus and Serena. We don't. So we only get a surface level look at them. That's kind of it. And with Richard, it's I I kind of just feel it's a Will Smith, just a Will Smith acting situation here, right? He puts on a lisp. That's essentially it. Everything else is just, what you expect from Will Smith. Like he definitely is trying to give you big moments, trying to give you these big moments because he knows, right? You put out a good monologue, you have a good speech, something rousing, something emotional, right? There's got to be a shouting scene. There's got to be a scene where you're nearly brought to tears, right? Where you're trying to show your emotional side, because that's gonna, sway the judges, right? So he tries to do all of this, but it doesn't always make sense, right? There's this big thing about being humble, right? There's a big thing about being humble, but right, you look at it and you be like, yo, but son, you ain't been humble. Like he's been bragging, like he was bragging to some of the other coaches at the beginning, and all, the parents and all of this. So it was like, it was weird when we had this moment about, humble and blah, 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 blah. And the fact that no one really calls him out on it. You know what I mean? No one really calls him out on it. And you're just like, what? And then once there's this shit you learn later in the film, right? There's the whole infidelity and all of this. It was one of those weird things, also that you found in Ali, right? When Will played Muhammad Ali, they didn't really look at that side of Muhammad Ali, although everyone knows, Muhammad cheated, right? He cheated. Like he did Malcolm dirty, but they didn't really show that. And it's like, listen, no one is perfect. No one's perfect. And it doesn't take away what he did in the ring. Doesn't take away from his activism work, you know? So it's odd sometimes when we get told these stories, right? They want to sell you on a biopic, but they don't want to show you everything. They're like, oh, yes, we're only going to show this and we're only going to do that, right? But it's like, you've mentioned it. So obviously you didn't want to focus on certain things, but you mentioned it, right? So that's gonna make people wonder. It's gonna make people wonder. So you either cover it or just don't mention it at all, right? It's a bit silly to go down that road if you're trying to cover it up, because what you find out, it's not great, right? It's not great, and you feel it is a um it's a contradiction on a lot of things Richard says throughout the film, right? And the pedestal he likes to put himself up on. And with all of that information, with knowing that that was a thing, you wonder, like, oh, what sort of distraction was that? And what did the girls really think? What did they really think? You know, that's the odd thing. And a bit like Pursuit of Happiness, right? Where we don't really see the mum doing anything. She just allows him to take the kid on the streets and all of this. And you're just like, wait, what's the mum doing? right? It doesn't really show a lot of the wife, right? Which feels a little bit weird. Feels a little bit weird that we're not really looking at Price's contribution. Like we see her with Serena, right? We see her doing some things, yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. But it's not looked at in the same light, right? The work she does, I don't feel it's covered in the same way, and it's not until she brings some of this stuff up that you kind of understand what she put in. You know what I mean? I think that's one big thing. I think the film also, right? It's as I said, look, all of this stuff is in the public record. So you can see them wanting to mention things and cover things and all of that, which is fine, right? But it's like they keep on having him throughout the film going, you need a wide stance, you need a front stance, a forward facing stance, right? Open it up, open it up. Never once is it explained why, right? We have Paul, right? He's no. You get the power from closing the stance and doing this and following through with the shoulder and blah 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 blah, right? But you don't get why Richard wants the open stance, and I kind of feel it's not that difficult to explain that, right? All you have to do, boom, it's a quick line. Paul's like, no, this is the stance because you get this, and then Richard be like, oh, but yo, open it up, and it allows for this and this and this, and I feel the girls have got these attributes that will really let them shine. Don't get it, right? We don't get it. Like there's tension between them and their neighbor. Never know why. Never know why. And you just think, again, it's not a difficult thing to do, just to be like, oh, she's mad because of just it's not there. It's not there. It's weird, right? You know, changing coaches never really explained. Never explained, right? It just there just seems to be these holes. There just seem to be these holes in the piece, which look, you can look past all of that stuff, right? I guess you could look past all of that stuff and still enjoy the film. For sure, you could do that. But I always, what I mean, certain things bug me, right? If I see a hole, I'm always a bit like, wait, but what about? And it gets me thinking, like, wait, surely couldn't they have just and what about So yeah, it was hard to, be fully in it when some of these things are coming up, right? And there's all these questions on. It was just a bit like, wait, what are we doing here? Right? What are we doing here? There's this plan that gets talked about all the time, but the you know, I think one of the big things is, it is talked about, right? We have to be better, right? We're trying to show what these little black girls from the hood can do. But then he's coaching, trying to get coaching and all of this, but not really putting forth a structured, this is why, right? He's just asking for the money, going, oh, they're going to be great. But I'm like, yo, so what is the sell though, right? Where's the evidence? You need something to impact and get these people on board, and he just doesn't. Right, and you're just thinking, surely he didn't just walk around and go, give me money, because it's just like that was never like he shows us that he understands that certain things won't work. So I'm just like, well, surely you'd know that ain't gonna cut it. You know what I mean? It was, yeah, it was a little weird, right? We had this whole gang situation thing. Now, one thing I will say, listen, you get punched in the face, there's gonna be marks. It's gonna be marks. We see him get beat down a few times, not really that marked, right? Not really that marked up, and you're just like, wait, what? That makes no sense. And then later in the film, there's a gang that's kind of like the bodyguards of them all, and you kind of think to yourself, well, how the fuck has that come about, right? Why? It's just another one of those unexplained things here. One of those unexplained things. It was, yeah, it's, I don't know, man. Like I definitely felt there was a lot of people in the screening that enjoyed it, right? So, hey, if you look, there's plenty of people that will be writing um very positive reviews on this, and you know all of that jazz. But it was just, yeah, it's not that I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, right? I'm definitely not saying that. I just kind of feel that where you have this incredible story, it just feels a little bit of a shame that all we get is a framework. There's nothing inside of that. You know, it's just the wood frame of a house. There's there's no plaster, there's no interiors, there's no furniture, and you're just like, yo, where's the rest of the stuff, man? Right? Where's the rest of the stuff? Right? We show um the last coach, right? We see the last coach Mackie just basically gets steamrolled, and you just kind of think, huh? Is he really letting himself get run like that? And also, like, the accusations that get made on him by Richard is kind of insane, right? Kind of insane, especially when, there's this stuff we know about Richard that isn't, no one's talking about, right? And you just think, wait, how the fuck is he not then retorting with her, hey, you know what I mean? You're doing blah, blah, blah. So check yourself, motherfucker. You know, obviously, even Mackie ain't gonna be saying that, but you get my gift, people. My gift, my gist. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, a little bit odd like that. And I think the coverage we get of the sisters, because yes, obviously Venus, she's the eldest, but then there's not really the same look at Serena. Like, there's moments of the film where Serena is kind of like she doesn't exist. And then, like, we're like looking at it going, oh yeah, but and you're just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But where's Serena? You know what I mean? Where's Serena? Because you're thinking, if everything's getting taped, don't you then just give her the tape to work on the next day? Or something, like, there's just, again, it's these weird gaps and just everything like that, right? We have, there's this a weird scene in the kitchen. There's a weird scene in the kitchen between, Price and Williams, but it ends in a way that's just, you just go, what? You know what I mean? After everything gets escalated to a certain level, things get said, it gets real, right? But it then, just kind of peters out. And you're like, wait, I don't believe she's doing that, man. I don't know if I buy that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. King Richard, I kind of feel that after seeing Citizen Ash, I'm just like, yo, that was great. I really enjoyed Citizen Ash. So, like, this just doesn't measure up to that for me. Right. So it's not that this is terrible. I'm just kind of looking at it compared to Citizen Ash. And I just, yeah, like Citizen Ash is a very high bar, for this tennis viewpoint. But and I just didn't feel King Richard gets to that for me, right? Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's enough for Smith to get that Oscar he wants. But listen, we know the Oscars, right? Oscars are fuckeries. So the chance, it wouldn't surprise me if they gave him the Oscar because it's like, you know, oh, he's been around for so long. It Oscars are more an accumulation of work rather than on this particular piece, this thing you've just done. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they gave it to him, but I don't think it's a great performance to warrant that. It's just, your typical Will Smith performance with a lisp. That's what it just felt like. But hey, I might be way too critical. So you can watch this tomorrow, Saturday, the 16th of October. It is playing at midday, right? Well, no, actually, it's probably 11 a.m. still actually morning, right? It's not midday. So, yeah, 11 a.m. at the Royal Festival Hall. So, you have a very nice setting for it, people, you know? But hey, if you can't make that, don't fear, people. Don't fear, because it will be hitting cinemas on the where is it? The 25th. No, 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 no. The 14th of November. There you go. 14th of November. It will be no. God damn it. It's just there's so many dates floating around, people. It's getting confusing. But let me look, let me look, let me look. Sorry, the 19th of November. That's it. The 19th of November is when it will be hitting cinemas, and it's Warner Brothers, so it's going to be hitting HBO Max for the first month, right? Boom, it's going to be there. So if you've got HBO Max, you can watch it on that, or if you're cool with it, people, you can venture out to the cinema and watch it on the 19th of November. That is if you know what I mean, you miss out tomorrow, you know. So yeah, King Richard is out, and I think the question for you people is Richard a king? Is he a prince? Or is he a pauper in sheep's clothing? You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, make up your mind, people. Make up your mind. It's yeah, how long is this? It is about just over 2 hours. right? 138 minutes. So yeah, 2 hours and 18 minutes, people. You know? How's an 18 minutes? Hmm. King Richard. King Richard. Yeah. Do you love tennis enough? Are you fascinated with the Williams sisters? I'll tell you one thing, the Beyonce track in the credits, I like that. It's a good little cut. Good little cut, people. So if nothing else, you get to hear a little bit of good Beyonce music, you know? But yeah, there you hey, one a pet peeve that just frustrates me. So the film ends, right? And then all this text comes up on screen. I'm just like, listen, at the beginning, you had the voiceover. Just voice over, motherfuckers. Stop with the tiny text on the screen. It's just dumb, right? It baffles me. Baffles me why we keep on doing this shit. It's frustrating. But yeah, that's it. Ran over. King Richard, people. Um, it's doing that festival circuit, and then the 19th of November, it will be hitting cinemas. So it's up to you, people. Is it gonna be love, or is it gonna be, you know, second service?